Just bringing some breaking news now. Germany's Conservatives and Social Democrats have reached a coalition deal to form a new government. They'll present details of the agreement this afternoon. Negotiations between the Conservative bloc, led by Chancellor-in-waiting Friedrich Merz, and the centre-left SPD began soon after the election in February. Pressure to reach a deal took on new urgency amid an economic slowdown sparked by US President Donald Trump's sweeping import tariffs. DW's chief political editor, Michaela Küfner, is at CDU headquarters where those talks have been taking place. Welcome, Michaela. So we have a deal. What do you know?
Well, in principle, the two parties, the Conservative CDU, CSU, you see the headquarters right behind me, that's the party of the likely next Chancellor Friedrich Merz, and the Social Democrats, the party of the current still Chancellor Olaf Scholz, have struck a deal. We have seen an SMS circulating this morning from Conservative quarters which claims that the CDU got most of the points that they wanted. At the same time, the Social Democrats have been very upbeat that they got everything that they wanted, or most of it. So it'll be very interesting to see once that document is actually presented later on this afternoon what is in the small print. And it's also an important milestone on that road that isn't quite finished yet to getting a new government here in Germany, because now both parties will first have to accept this document, a very small circle amongst the Conservatives, the grassroots membership amongst the Social Democrats, and that will take another 2 weeks. And then Parliament will be able to, very likely, elect Friedrich Merz as Chancellor. So we're still a couple of weeks away from actually having a new government in place, but this is the breakthrough in terms of the political agreement between the two parties that will make up the next government.
And so what were the main sticking points?
Well, they were migration, taxation. That was the very last one where everybody was sitting for 13 hours yesterday alone. And we understand that that has now been resolved, although we are still to learn what that will mean in concrete terms, whether high-income earners will really have to pay more tax, whether corporate tax will really go down. That's a really open question. So all eyes are on that 1500 Central European Time press conference today. Also, the issue of migration. Friedrich Merz had vowed in that election campaign, that was very bruising for him, that on day one, as he put it, as Chancellor, he would essentially order for asylum claimants with no chance of really getting asylum in Germany to be rejected at a German border. The Social Democrats protested instantly. We understand that a compromise has been reached there a couple of days ago. In total, it's 16 areas where there were debates. And the big one seems to have been the finances in the end and that taxation issue. So we're due to learn more details later on throughout the day.
OK, so the heads have agreed. This now has to be gone over by the party and then Parliament. Do we expect any roadblocks along that particular path?
Look, I just want to remind us that in the last Merkel government was also a so-called grand coalition between the Conservatives and the Social Democrats. And there was also a grassroots vote, and you never know which way it can go. If the Social Democrats' grassroots were to reject this, it would be a major upheaval. It would paralyze Germany politically and tear open, really, what was almost a consensus here that this simply is too important to be allowed to fail. So in theory, this can still fail, but we do expect this to go through. The first testing ground for this document today will be the parliamentary groups. All party leaders here are heading straight over to Parliament. They will present that document to the public, and then they will take it into their own parliamentary groups, the freshly elected parliament, and they are sure to get some instant feedback there. But those groups sitting together here were very large. There was an attempt to create as much consensus also into the party as possible so that there are no further stumbling blocks, and leaving as little as possible to that top circle that put the final touches on this document.
All right. For those of us who aren't German, just explain to us what we should draw from what appears to have been quite a protracted process. We had elections in February. We're now in April. Germany still doesn't have a government. Is that usual? Does that mean that this is going to be a contentious government?
Well, given the circumstances, this still counts as fairly speedy in the German context. We have an election system that has been designed to force parties to actually enter into compromise, into coalitions with each other. It's a proportional system. It's not a winner-takes-it-all system. So stability through compromise is the German logic. It isn't in many other countries in the world. There's a sense that stability is created if there's a clear winner in elections. So this counts as fairly average, at the same time under maximum political pressure, given the wider context both of a German economy already having slowed down and being essentially heading into recession, and the turbulence we're seeing that's been created by Donald Trump on the international markets, not to mention that war returned to Europe in Ukraine. So huge challenges and maximum time pressure here.
OK, busy day ahead for you and them. For now, though, Chief Political Editor Michaela Küfner, thank you so much.